Something very interesting happened on social media a couple of days ago, and it involves a random white girl who drops the N-word on her video, casually, like unprovoked too, ends up losing her job, gets accused of being a Jew, and essentially is being barred from the right-wing community altogether. Now, you might be saying to yourself, hold up, how did this all happen? Well, let's go back to memory lane and let's just analyze what happened, because you would think something like this is irrelevant, which it is, but it kind of illustrates the state the right wing is in right now and how pathetic that community it basically is, and the ideology that revolves and kind of fuels that community in a sense. So, a couple of days ago, a video surfaced of a white girl talking about marriage or dating or something like that. Now, near the end of the video, she ends up deciding to drop the N-word casually. Like, it was so casual, honestly, I wasn't fazed by it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm never really fazed when people who are not black Americans say it. But she dropped it casually. Now, obviously, this kind of upsetted the black American community, and it practically divided them. Yes, it divided the black American community. You have black men basically championing her and, you know, calling her a queen, or saying that she's brave, or saying that yes, great job exercising your freedom of speech and all that stuff. Basically, they were just being super coons at that point. Let's be honest, super coons. You know, what's the other word? Incels. No, not incels. There's a word I can't think of it. There's a word that you call men when they gravitate and worship a woman's feet. I just don't know what it is. Whatever. You get what I'm saying. And then the other side of it, you have both black men and I think black women also complaining that, hey, you shouldn't say this word, it's not within your right, or blah blah blah. You know, the typical, we don't like you saying this word because you're white type of thing, right? Now, she doubled down on it and started grifting a little bit. You know, she started, you know, saying, yes, this is it, this is what America's all about, freedom of speech, all that good stuff. She started drawing attentions from people like Andre Tate, the Hug Twins, and other notable right-wing people, essentially, right? Then, something interesting happened. Well, not interesting because it was kind of predictable. She lost her job. Apparently, the people who were very pissed off at her using the N-word were very pissed off, and they ended up tracking down her employment and basically told her employer, hey, are you hiring someone who's this disrespectful on social media? And that employer probably has some form of self-respect for themselves and said, listen lady, we can't have you around, you're causing too much of a ruckus, I gotta let you go. And then she's out. But not before going from something around 800 followers to 40,000 followers in the span of a couple of days. I mean, I don't know if she actually had 800, that's just a number that somebody posted or a screenshot or whatever. But regardless, it was a really fast amount of numbers being acquired in a short amount of time. And I guess she was about to build her career as a grifter online, you know, saying the most stereotypical things a right-winger would say, and that kind of always involved a couple of things. It is A, being as offensive as humanly possible. So usually when you are a grifter from the right wing, you are more inclined to drop the N-word on Twitter. Only on Twitter, to be honest with you, because Elon Musk basically set that platform up for right-wing heaven. So drop the N-word, drop the F-word, drop every fucking slur that you can think of. You know, really dive into that degeneracy discussion, okay? And then, yeah, that's kind of pretty much it. That's usually what the right wing is usually all about nowadays. It's basically, how can I be as edgy as possible so I can be the complete opposite of the left, who are trying to be super politically correct. That's kind of like the idea. Now, something interesting happened with this lady. She started losing support from the right wing side. Now, you might be saying, what could she have possibly have said? Was she being too politically correct? Was she trying to backtrack what she said? What did she do that ended up causing her to lose some type of following from the right-wing people? And it all had to do with her phenotype. And keep this in mind, she's actually moderately attractive. She's not a bad looker, basically. But something about her phenotype set people off. Something about the way she looks put people on edge. What was it? What could it possibly be? I'll give you a clue. Yes, her nose just so happens to resemble a stereotypical nose of an Ashkenazi Jew. And we all know nothing sets off the right-wing people more than the mere presence of a Jewish individual within their ranks. With the exception of Ben Shapiro, actually, you know what? Ben Shapiro has lost a lot of the support from the right wing as well, so we can't even include him. So basically, yeah, they are like the right wing is basically anti-Jew forever. They are not fucking with the Jew. They don't care if they can find a white supremacist Jew who really wants to preserve the white race. If you are a Jew, it is all over for you. Completely donezo. We don't want you, nothing. And the thing is, we don't even know if she's a Jew. That's the funny part about it. We have no idea if this lady is genuinely a Jew. So as far as we are concerned, this lady not only has lost her job, she probably fucked up her whole career going forward, because this will live on the internet forever, and many employment will probably not likely hire her again because they don't want to be drawn in to a lot of potential racist accusation. On top of that, she is now surrounding herself and interacting with very problematic figures, which is not going to help her prosperity either. Now, on top of all of that, she's now been accused of potentially being a Jew by the very side she could have probably built some type of grifting career from. So she's royally fucked, basically. She has no avenue anymore. I mean, possibly she's hot enough that she could probably do some kind of right wing, Playboy magazine type of thing. I don't know, that could have been sexist for me to say, but that's her only avenue at this point. But I want to talk more a little bit about the culture war in of itself and how the right wing. Honestly, I don't even know if we can take these people seriously anymore, because all they do is just grift now. Andrew Tate comes on social media and he says some of the most retarded shit possible. Sneeko, I suppose, is right wing, I believe, and yeah, because he associates with Nick Quinton, so I'm gonna throw him in that book too. He comes online and he says some fucking retarded shit too. The Hog Twins interacted with that lady, and they're saying things like, "Oh my god, I can't believe the black community is this sensitive." Meanwhile, the fucking right wing is the most sensitive people on the face of the planet. Any sort of diversity or anything that strays away from what they like instantly infuriates them. It's ironic. I just find this whole thing very interesting. That this lady, who literally wasn't known, like nobody knew who she was. She posted online. She's probably just like me. Let's be honest, she's like me. I'm posting online, I'm talking about things, but nobody knows who I am. She went from being just a random white girl who's complaining about the days of how the jocks used to rule the schools and the nerds used to be beneath their feet, and now those same nerds are now ruling over them. The classical American tale that we've seen in so many movies. From that to now being the new face of grifting of the right-wing side of the community. It's funny. It's funny to me though, because on one hand, so many people are trying to tell black Americans they shouldn't have reacted to her, they shouldn't have given her a platform, they should have just ignored her. But then I feel like it is not within any of our rights to tell black Americans how they should or should not react to when an individual does something that they perceive as disrespectful. They can have it within themselves. So if a black American is criticizing black Americans for being insensitive, that's different. That's an ethnic discussion that they are having. But for me and you, who are outside of that community, we can't tell them shit. We have to sit back and just watch this whole thing unfold. And fortunately, it worked out for the black Americans. She lost her job. That's what they wanted. They wanted some type of consequence from using that word. But what's interesting though is that, how long will this last, right? How long will this last? And here's why I'm saying this. Right now, the black American community, probably with the help of other ethnic groups who felt like she was off place for saying this, were able to successfully punish her for saying the N-word. Contrary to what you may say, it is within their rights to express their frustration. That is the kind of the core of freedom of speech. Just because somebody has the ability to say something doesn't mean they shouldn't have consequences for it. This is why the right wing really truly fails when it comes to the concept of freedom of speech. What they are advocating for is not freedom of speech, it is freedom of expression without consequences. That's what they're really saying. They want to be able to say anything that they want without consequences, but that's not how the world works. No matter where you're from, you cannot say anything without the reaction of the public. If that makes sense. If I walked out into, like, you know, my town, for example, and I shouted things that obviously I know my town does not condone or accept, the town has a right to react to what I'm saying. That is the true essence of freedom of speech, which means I express my opinion and everybody else gets to express their opinion on my opinion. I don't get to say, it's my freedom of speech, I can say whatever the hell I want, you guys can shut the fuck up and not react to me. That's not freedom of speech. It's the same thing similarly that happened when Nick Fuentes was finally reinstated on Twitter, on X, came on a Twitter space and was basically royally backshotted by Destiny, who basically just blasted the fuck out of him. And then later on, him and Sneaker were kind of bitching and complaining about how the next time we have a Twitter space, we shouldn't really invite certain types of people, we should vet it. And it's like, that's not freedom of speech. That's how you stopping certain people from expressing their freedom of speech. You know what I mean? So people understand that there is no such thing as freedom of speech. It is what is permitted within society, what is allowed to be said within society. And right now, when one person says something and a certain group of people don't like it, they have a right to express it. But here's where I'm getting at. Right now, sure, this company fired this lady for saying the N-word. But how long before companies stop caring about whether or not an employee has said the N-word? Do you get what I'm saying? Because we're seeing more and more white people feeling comfortable saying the N-word. I personally don't care. I'll be 100% honest with you. I'm not trying to be edgy. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm different from the other types of blacks. I'm just saying I don't care. Because I don't care. I don't care. It's on social media. Like, if a white person around is saying it around me, like I said, we are talking online, and they're saying it around me or around my space, I will, if I control the space, I can kick them out. Because that's my rule. You will not be disrespecting me. Regardless of how you feel about the word, I don't want to be associated with that word. I don't want to have someone who's not from my race saying that word, because it is difficult for me to perceive it as a friendly gesture, because you don't come from the same background as the people who created that word. So it's hard for me to kind of like accept you as a friend when you say that word. Does that make sense? But if I'm in a space where it's not my space and a white person is saying the N-word, the only thing I can do is walk away. I'm not gonna sit here and start fucking arguing with some dude who's saying the N-word, especially online. I'm gonna leave. But that's my freedom of choice to make. Another person could say, no, I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to argue with you because I don't like the way you're saying that word. That's their freedom of speech and freedom of expression. That is true freedom of speech and freedom of expression, is that you can say what you want, but you have to expect people to react to it. You cannot have freedom of speech and expect to have no consequences whatsoever. Right? Anything you say, people will react to it. That's the whole purpose of social media. It is interacting with people. She could have chosen to ignore all those people, but she chose to peg it on. She chose to play into it, and now she paid the price for her actions. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time, and now she's going to have a lot of free time away from her employment. And now, probably she won't even be able to grift because she's still facing the Jewish accusation. And it's not the Jewish accusation, a psyop accusation, because generally she literally came out of nowhere. No one knows who she is or where she came from. She's just out of nowhere. I don't know. So that's what I mean. So this is why when it comes to the culture war, essentially, it's stupid because the right wing, although they criticize the left a lot, they are trying so hard to be the left. They're trying so hard to emulate a lot of the things that the left is doing, which is, let's be honest, right? The left has gone too far to the deep end. Like, both sides are just fucking retarded. I'll be honest, I'm not a centrist, I probably, if I were to align myself somewhere between the left and the right, I'll keep it above 50. I'm probably leaning, let's say here's the middle, right? This is the camera, right? Here, left, here, right. I am probably here, just somewhere around here. And that's probably because of cultural reasons, upbringing and all that stuff, right? There are some left-leaning thoughts that I do have and I do agree with, but there are some right wings I'm kind of like, I'm more on that side than I am on this side, but I'm not that deep, I'm not that fucking lost, essentially. Whereas in the culture war on social media, you can't be a little bit here or a little bit here. You have to be either you're here, which is like pro-Nazi, pro-everything, or you're over here, which is just pure degeneracy, pure, I don't know. This whole thing just it's ridiculous, bro. It is ridiculous. But yeah, like I said, her losing her job, it's a consequence of our actions. I'm not gonna feel bad for her whatsoever. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, the black Americans acted too sensitive. No, the black Americans acted exactly how they wanted to act. They don't want other people saying the word. They don't give a fuck how you feel about it. I think that's the main problem so many people who are non-black Americans don't understand. Black Americans, they know they can't stop people from saying it. Obviously, if everybody right now decided to start saying the N-word, they can't stop us, obviously. But they still have a right to express that they don't want you to fucking say the word. They just don't like it. And obviously there's cultural fucking reasons and historical reasons why whites, Arabs, and Hispanics, I don't give a fuck. Like, listen, I'm not a black American, right? So I will not speak for them. But if I were to be a black American, I would never allow Hispanics to say the word. I don't care what they went through. I don't care what they went through. They're not saying it either, bro. That's how I feel. But that's the difference. That's the thing about black Americans. They're different, they're unique, and they're not a monolithic people. Because while I'm saying that there are black Americans who don't like other people saying the N-word, there are black Americans who are going around giving everybody the pass. They will give a fucking Nazi a pass if they think it's funny. Look at Myron from Fresh and Fit. Motherfucker gave Nick, Sneeko, and probably everybody around him who's white the pass. This man threw the Hell Hitler sign, whatever it's called. Yeah, see, it's actually, you know what? I just feel like he's not even fucking black American. This motherfucker is Sudanese. You see what I mean? I feel like black Americans should do a more better job vetting who should be or should not be saying the N-word. But anyways, that's just my opinion on this whole thing. I think it's funny. This entire video was just to talk about how ridiculous it is, how ridiculous the right wings are. Which, by the way, this is something I wanted to talk about as well. The right wing seems to be embracing a lot of women who dress promiscuously. Is that the word? No, very slutty, essentially. But it goes against their very ideology of a modest woman. Sometimes the right-wing side of people really just contradict themselves so many times, and it's hilarious. One minute they'll say, we don't like women dressing like sluts, we don't like women doing this and that, but then the next minute, if they find a really fucking hot and attractive woman who dresses exactly like the things that they do not condone, but because she's saying right-wing ideological ideas, now she's hot. Now she represents what we think of. It's fucking weird, bro. It's weird. I don't know. This whole thing is just a mess. It's so funny too, bro. It's because this white girl is just gonna be famous for about a month, or I'll give her a month, and then she'll fall out of relevancy because her opinions are dog shit. I'm not saying that my opinions are obviously better than hers, but it's like she's just regurgitating something that anybody can probably regurgitate. I think she's just famous because she's pretty. I think that's it. I think that just boils down to it. She's pretty, and she says the N-word. Therefore, now she went from pretty to super fucking hot. But because now people are finding out that she has a Jewish nose, I just realized something. They went and found a picture of her and her mother, bro. And her mom kind of looks Jewish. I won't lie to you. She kind of does. She has curly hair. She has the typical Jewish look to her, whatever. They're going deep with this girl. It's so weird. All she did was say the N-word, and now the whole internet is doing a deep investigative, just a deep investigative research on her background to figure out, is she really Jewish or issue with the Aryan race, which, by the way, European are all like this, like the Jews, the Germans, the Irish, the French, the Scandinavians, they're all here. It's just one European fucking race at the end of the day, but they're just beefing. And it's funny too, because they're beefing with the Ashkenazi Jews, who are just white people, but then have the balls to look at Africans and be like, why are these Africans fighting each other? Why is there always tribal wars? Meanwhile, there's tribal war happening with the white race. Ukraine versus Russia. The entire white race versus Ashkenazi Jews. I don't know. I'm just talking at this point. I think I'm just trying to max out this video as much as possible. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I think this whole video just boils down to the concept of freedom of speech, right? And the right wing trying to be as edgy as possible. And that's it. That's it. It's just to be as edgy as possible and preserving the white race or something like that. Let me know what you guys think. I'm done. I'm actually done. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.